Hi everybody, Dr. Stutzer. I wanted to review trustworthiness, which is how the data is handled in qualitative studies. So when we look at quantitative studies and say, did they measure what they intended to measure? So is the tool reliable and is it valid? In qualitative studies, the question becomes, how did all of the information that the researcher obtained from the participants, how was that information managed? How was all of that data, which is really all of that rich dialogue that they had, how was it managed? And Lincoln and Guba developed these trustworthiness criteria that are recognized in the qualitative research world as the criteria that one examines the researcher's work or in terms of its reliability and validity, if you will. So credibility is the first one, and this is demonstrating accuracy and validity through documentation. So in more and more in qualitative studies, they will speak to the trustworthiness of the data management or the trustworthiness of the approach. And so somewhere in there, and you can see it very clearly delineated in that compassion fatigue qualitative study that you have posted on Moodle, they spoke to how they managed the documentation and managed the information. And so it's similar to internal validity. Are they handling and clearly documenting the information that they're getting from the participants? Transferability then is there enough information? Was there enough information provided so that the person using this research could determine if the information could be used in similar situations? So the question becomes, was there enough as the reader reads the work from the researcher? Is there enough there for it to be applied in a perhaps different population, but in a similar situation? Dependability is how the process was documented. How did the researcher demonstrate their process such that if you wanted to perhaps replicate it, you might be able to do that, or if similar circumstances were occurring, that you would see similar results. So you can depend on the information. And they're showing you on these slides how they parallel validity and reliability in the quantitative world. And then confirmability is that the themes, the conclusions, the information provided by the researcher emerged from the information or the data that they received. And so you're able to judge from reading the research report and the way it's described and the various, they'll often call it thick descriptions. So they'll name a particular theme and then they'll have quotes from the participants so that you understand how the researcher named the theme, how they saw the theme. And so when you read a qualitative report, you should see a lot of quotes from the participants, because that allows you to understand how the qualitative researcher came to the conclusions that they did. And so this is called confirmability. And then there's a authenticity criteria that I actually have not seen utilized. So you'll see things like rigor. Rigor is another term that's used. So how rigorous were they in managing the data? And the data is all of these words from the participants. Or how did they meet Lincoln and Guba's trustworthiness criteria? So you should see in qualitative studies some discussion of that.